Good day, everyone. Your normal commentator, Elliot Baker, and sitting on my right here is Jonathan the Clark.
Good morning, people of the internets.
And of course, we've got an X-Wing game. This is the first round of the X-Wing Sword Championship here at Athena Games.
It is. In fact, it's a little bit late for those of you who flew in it. The tournament was actually 2 weeks ago today. Some technical problems, but we're finally getting it out to you.
Yeah, we've actually just recently moved store, haven't we?
Yes,
so
they have.
Those were the technical issues that we
Yes.
had. Our booth was not ready yet, unfortunately. No. But yeah, we've got two fantastic combatants here today. We've got Pete Jones,
who is on the left with his double shuttle white decimator list. And on the right we have what's his name again? We're just looking up his name, people.
Robert Cornell.
Robert Cornell, who's flying a decimator defender list. So Imperial, which is quite interesting because there wasn't a lot of Imperial players on the day.
It is important to note that Pete does have initiative in this match.
Oh, does he? Does he? That is
yes.
very okay. Is Mr. Cornell on the right? Is he a full 100 points then? Is he?
Full 100 points, I believe. Yes.
Is that and it looks like he's got quite a few upgrades on there. And Pete on the left, I can't quite. It looks like on his shuttles he has an engine upgrade and advanced sensors.
Well, we have the list details right here, which Pete on the left is flying a patrol leader,
right,
as we can see,
with
Rebel Captive and Darth Vader on board.
Okay.
He's also got an Omicron group pilot. In fact, he's got two Omicron group pilots. One in the landed position, which has fire control system Mara Jade, and then the one with the wings down, who has got advanced sensors and engine upgrade, which that'll help that shuttle get a bit more extra maneuverability in there.
Bit more. If he remembers to use them.
If he remembers to use them. Yes, Pete was unfortunately hung over at this time and facing a bright light on the stage.
Pete was very hungover at this time. It's so much so, in fact, that after the second round he decided it was better just to give up, which was amused us all to no end.
Well, sometimes if you're having a bad day and...
Yeah.
He obviously thought it was best that he drop, and he had a good time from what I could tell.
He stayed all day. He braved it out, but he went off for food and he felt a lot better after that.
I'm sure he did.
So you'll be able to see what a hungover player looks like in about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Rob on the right is running Rex Labrath.
Yep.
The infamous TIE Defender, with a heavy laser cannon and veteran instincts.
Obviously.
But that's a whopping 45 points just for that build right there.
That is a lot for one ship. Not for a large ship, but for one fighter, that is a lot.
Yeah, especially when you consider that only 8 of those are upgrades. It's 37 is just the Defender itself.
It's not one you often see in tournaments.
No, you don't. It's nice. I actually like seeing high pilot skill people in there because I like the shenanigans that they can do.
They're very shenanigan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, you usually end up sacrificing a couple of extra fighters in response, but sometimes it's that shenanigans that can make up the whole difference in the game. We also have at Pilot Skill 6 Commander Kenkirk.
I cannot quite remember what his pilot ability is.
I'll get onto those abilities in a second, but he has Predator, Rebel Captive, Moff Jerajod, and Darth Vader.
Okay, so very similar list to what Pete has on his decimator, but with
very
a couple
similar,
of differences.
with a couple of differences. It's interesting to see kind of two very similar yet very different lists.
Yes.
And here we go, Asteroid deployment coming up here. Yeah. Obviously setting up quite far away from each other, trying to get the opposite asteroids the opposite end, trying to run over the opponents.
Yeah.
Not sure whether it's the best kind of strategy. They both want maneuverability here, so there we go. An exact right angle.
Yeah.
Good there. And okay.
Interesting.
Rom's making things a bit more difficult for his opponent. Of course, we all like to have our asteroids at either 90 degree or 45 degree angles from each other, but that makes things very difficult to fly in larger ships.
Exactly.
However, we're still seeing a very wide open area there in the middle.
We were.
Rob was throwing a spanner into the mix there, and there you go. Anyway, so for those at home who never have played X-Wing, welcome to the game of X-Wing. Let me go through what the various upgrades and things do. Okay, patrol leader, Omicron group pilot. Both of those are low pilot skill. They don't have any special abilities, and there's deployment right there. 2 shuttles right next to each other in the corner with the decimator. Looks like he's placing it right in the middle, obviously aiming for a straight run through the asteroids.
We'll see how that goes for him. We'll see how that goes for him.
Patrol leader has Rebel Captive, as does Commander Kenkirk.
Yep.
Once per round, the first ship that declares you as the target of an attack immediately receives 1 stress token. A stress token means you cannot perform an action. So that could very much affect things. And he can't form a red maneuver.
No, he can't form. But because he'll be getting the stress token after he's done his action, if he does a green maneuver next round, he can still get his action.
It does make him somewhat predictable.
But it does make him a little bit predictable. But then some people just...
And there's the handshake,
There
and the
we go.
match is now begun. So the first round has been made, so dials are now being selected, then placed down, ready for deployment.
It looks like he's put Rex Labrath at the top
Yeah,
right of the screen.
yeah.
You can't quite see it, but he is at the top right.
Yeah, you can see the base, and it looks like he's facing directly
It
towards Desmond.
does.
Very interesting deployment there from Rob.
That is very interesting.
It seems like he may try to get the defender behind the Decimator attack as cover.
Maybe.
Anyway, both squadrons have Darth Vader. After you perform an attack against an enemy ship, doesn't matter if it hits or not, you may suffer 2 damage to cause that ship 1 critical damage.
Okay.
And there we go, dials now being placed,
Yep.
and I believe that's all the dials placed down, and
That
so
is.
we begin.
The 2 shuttles will be moving forward, obviously.
Yeah, I'm moving first because the particle 2, and actually, I believe this. Yes, they're both stopping. They're both causing the 0 maneuver, gaining a stress. It's a red maneuver, so they gain the stress, but they stay exactly where they are.
Exactly where
The
they are.
only ship in the game that can do that currently.
I reckon it will be the only ship that can do that in the game, full stop.
I agree.
I don't think they'll be bringing that
I agree.
in.
I mean-
and Pete's turning to the right with his decimator. That is interesting.
Obviously, bringing them close to the shuttle. Obviously, wanting to be put. Obviously, wanting Rob to go for the shuttles, and
Yes.
daring him to go and say, "My decimator's coming over here. I dare you to go for the shuttles." Because of course, once you get behind those shuttles, that's
There
when
is-
you
they are, yes. It's an interesting strategy. I'll give him
Because
that.
the shuttles are not.
And here we go.
And here we
with,
go, Rob. One forward, just seeing what's happening, getting the lay of the land.
Which is usually the best way. You'll find in a lot of matches in tournaments, the first round is very, very, very
Slow.
not slow, but very cautious.
Yeah.
You're trying to gauge your opponent.
Yeah, feel your opponent out, see what they're going to do.
Unless you're me and you just run straight in.
Now, the shuttles are not very maneuverable. They're only turn. they have banks, but
Excuse me.
their proper full 90-degree turn is a red. So
Yes.
that means they're going to stress themselves. However, Pete has mitigated this with the combination of advanced sensors and engine upgrade. Advanced sensors allow you to perform your action before you move.
Exactly. So
Which, with the engine upgrade, allows him to boost with a bank 1 first, then perform the turn to allow him for a total of 217 movement? Yes, 270.
190. Yes, 270.
Full 270 move, which makes it better for than
Or if he was going the other way, he could boost to the left, turn to the right. And you can end up snaking his way for those asteroids.
not 270, 190, I believe.
No, 180 is full of out, so it's
Yeah.
90.
Yeah, 190.
It's about 145 degrees.
Yeah, maths was
Yeah,
definitely strong.
yeah, we don't math.
Yeah, we're not math winners.
No.
We leave that to experts on the forums.
Like
Anyway,
calculators.
Yes. The second number who's landed, you'll see there.
Yes.
And of course, dials being placed for the next round. There was no combat because they're not in range yet.
Just for those of you who don't know, you can't actually land. That was just because of the placement of the shuttle,
It's
which
a
Pete's done to help him
Visual
distinguish
distinction.
between the two.
Visual distinction. That one has fire control system, Mara Jade. Fire control system.
Oh, here we go. We're moving again.
There we go. Shuttle's moving one forward. Obviously, green maneuver to clear the stress. Interesting to see what happens there.
And we'll see what he does for an action.
The fire control system allows you, once you have to perform an attack, you may acquire a target lock on the defender.
Yes.
And a target lock allows you to re-roll any number of attack dice or unleash any ordnance you have. Oh, interesting! Bumping with the second shuttle.
Now, I'm wondering if that's something Pete did on purpose, or that's something Pete didn't do on purpose.
I think it's an actual deliberate tactical move because you're keeping the heavy damage dealer, the flying shuttle,
Yes.
as far back as you can. You're making it move as less as it can, keeping its
try and
firing
keep
arcs.
it- yes, that
keep its
is-
firing arcs because it's going to be really difficult to turn those shuttles around. So you want to make sure you maximise the time that your opponent's in your firing arc.
Yes, obviously. I'm not a big Imperial player with large ships, so I'm not sure how to fly shuttles. I find them ungangly, so I don't like to fly them myself.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
of course-
interesting to see there were quite a few on the day.
And of course, the rear shuttle's bump, so it loses its action.
Yes, of course. But it's removed its stress as well, so
That's true.
next turn he can advance sensors if it looks like he's going to bump himself again.
Now, the launcher shuttle also has Mara Jade. At the end of the combat phase, each enemy ship at range 1 that does not have a stress token receives 1 stress token. That is in there for swarms. That's in there so that shuttle gets in the mix and suddenly everyone around you is stressed, which can be debilitating.
It can be, but again, on the day, It looked like Pete kind of forgot about it a little bit.
Maybe. And here we go.
Oh, interesting.
Robert playing it safe, keeping it away, seeing where this is going, letting Pete play out, probably trying to swing around behind the shuttles and take them out.
For those who don't know, usually in a game with this few ships, combat would have started by now, but they are playing it very cautious.
Normally combat's round 2, round 3 at the absolute most. But they are playing a very cautious game here, especially with the Decimator. Now, that makes me wondering, because the Decimator's got so much hull and so many shields, because it's got 4 shields, and as you can see, it's got, it's got 12 hull, is that? Yeah, 12 hull.
12 hull, yes.
Yeah. That's a lot to chew through.
I reckon what Robert's strategy is going to be is try to get behind the Decimator, even though the Decimator can fire 360, get behind it and pick away at it with his Decimator, his defender, while negating the firing arc of the shuttles, trying to stay out of it.
With the high pilot skill, which is the orange number you can see on the displays, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, means that he will move last and fire first.
Yes.
So he has the advantage of modifying his position if he can, and then firing, be the first to fire on his opponents. And if you can take an opponent out before they get a chance to fire, well, that's...
unless you're firing at an opponent with the same pilot skill as you. Even if you destroy them, they still get a chance to shoot back if they can.
For example, the Omicron group pilots, they can move, with one can move after the other, or one can pull the other. It's up to Pete what one he moves first. There's no consistency that's needed there. You may just move either one at your leisure.
And same with firing, you can choose which one to fire first.
Which can be a good tactic if you want to, if you've got 2 different ships in arc and you want to, and one's already killed.
Yes.
You want to see if you can try and kill it. Of course, you don't want to waste a shot if you can get a shot on the other one.
Exactly.
Because if you kill it, and then you've just wasted a shot because you can't kill, anyone's.
So, what about Robert? What's his Rexlar got?
Well, Rexlar's got a heavy laser cannon, which is probably one of the most popular cannons to have in the game.
It is.
It is a 4 attack dice, so he's rolling 4 attack dice, range 2 to 3, so he can't get up there for the range 1. However, he cannot crit with it either, he gets hits. But that's 4 attack dice.
Just to clarify, he cannot crit on the first roll. If he had a target lock and he re-rolled, he could keep any crits he gets on the second turn.
That is correct. And doesn't mean if a crit lands, it's a blank, he merely turns a crit to a hit.
Yes. But when you consider he's throwing out 4 attack die from range 3, and it's a secondary weapon, so something like the Decimator won't get the extra evade die. If he can land all 4 hits on Pete's Decimator, that's 4 shields, that's 4 health gone straight away.
Yeah. And of course, Rexlar being part skill 10, there's going to be one reason for that, can't there?
Yes.
Veteran instincts.
Yes.
Very cheap, 1 point, increase your part skill value by 2. Very good at proficiency with their points. It's the go-to card when you got 1 point.
It is quite a good card as well. I've seen a lot of it, like a lot of 8. If you got an 8 or 9 pilot skill, always, and you got the point, throw veteran instincts on there. Always, it can make or break the list.
It occurs to me that we're in round 3, dials being placed, and no combat's taking place.
That has occurred to me as well. I'm beginning to think maybe Pete is trying to stay away from combat because he can't handle it.
Possibly.
in the state he's in.
Possibly, but and to be honest, he will win if he were to outrun the clock because he has initiative. So technically, he would win.
Yes, I believe he did, because I believe they both rolled for initiative, and I believe Pete won.
Yeah, Pete did win for initiative.
Yes.
Commander Kenkirk, on Robert's side, does have quite a lot of stuff on him. He has Predator, 3. It costs 3 points. When attacking, you may reroll 1 attack die. If the defender's pilot skill is 2 or lower, you may instead reroll up to 2 attack die. That's going to be good against the shuttles.
It will be good against the
pilot
shuttles.
Skill 2, that's 2 free rolls. You don't need to target lock. Take a focus, you've got 2 free rerolls anyway. Patrol leader, only 1, but it's still 1 reroll you get, which is something. He's also got Rebel Captain on his one, which of course, the first ship to attack it gets a stress.
Oh, here we go. That's interesting.
Oh.
Pete's starting to break his shuttles up a little bit.
He obviously thinks that he needs to get in here at some
Yes.
point. And, the Decimator is just going to try and keep away from him while the defender comes in and tries to waylay him.
Exactly.
And he realises the shuttle's going to get flanked if he doesn't do anything. So he's doing that. He's not crashing, so he still gets his action, probably deciding right now. While the other shuttle's taking a focus, and he's doing a boost. He's doing a boost. He's using the engine upgrade to get an extra maneuverability, and of course, with that large base, they get such a distance increase. Look at that.
That's a 2 almost. He's just moved his forward firing up about 3 forward.
Put it in perspective. He was behind the shuttle in line with the Decimator, and now he's moved to where he is now. That's quite impressive, especially for a shuttle.
Very. They are surprisingly manoeuvrable once you know how to fly them right.
And here comes the Decimator, of course, supporting the rear of the shuttles, daring Robert to come in and say, "Come on, go for the rear of the shuttles. I've got my Decimator here. I can fire 360. I don't care."
Pete is flying quite well. This list, he was practicing it quite a lot.
He's got a tactical formation going on. It's just such a shame he was hungover on the day.
Yes.
So yeah, Ken Kirk also has Darth Vader, which of course, as we all know, suffer 2 damage to deal 1 critical hit.
Yes.
Which is very good. However, he also has Moff Gerajard. When you are dealt a face-up damage card, i.e. a critical hit, you may discard this upgrade or another crew upgrade, aka Rebel Captive and Darth Vader, to flip that damage card face down without resolving its effect. So you essentially negate a crit for the cost of losing one of your crew. With 3 crew, he could potentially negate 3 direct hits, which could be very game-changing. Of course, that means he's sacrificing the crew and then no one can use them. And it seems that the defender is doing a 5 straight.
Is this going to be a bump?
I don't think so. I think he's clear.
Yes, he is clear.
He's clear.
Nicely done. Robert is flying quite nicely.
Well,
oh no, that is a.
I think he's bumping the model itself. Therefore, of course, the model doesn't count. It's on the base.
Yes.
So they're removing the model. Yeah. So we now got an invisible decimator on the field.
So cloaking technology.
So Johnny, for the folks at home, why don't you go through the actions of evade and focus and boost? What we can see here.
Okay.
In this game.
So as you can notice on some of the bases, when they're after they've moved or before they
measuring for range, no combat's taking place out of range.
You have they've put down tokens. You have a focus token, which is a little eyeball rather, and you have an evade token, which is a little squiggly line, an arrow with a dot on it. Evade token basically is what it says. It's a free evade action. So if you get shot, you can decide to spend it to negate 1 attack.
Yeah.
If you've rolled badly,
and that's very important. It's only 1 hit that you get to negate.
Yes,
isn't it?
yes, only 1. You don't get to miss them all, just 1. And the focus is useful for both. Looks like there'll be a bit of combat.
I think it's just out. If it's in, it's only just barely. Let's see where it goes.
Ooh, I'm on the edge of my seat here.
They've declared that it's in.
The
first round of combat from Rex Barath onto the shuttle, and here we go. Oh, look at that! That's like three hits, and 1 focus. He's not got a focus.
As you can see on the attack die, perfect opportunity while explaining the focus. If he had an eyeball, a focus token, he can spend the focus token to turn all his focus results into a hit, or evade if he was defending.
And I believe that's 2 damage on the shuttle already.
That is.
There we go. 2 shields been taken down. Not good exchange of fire right there. That's not what you want to see.
No, that isn't. No.
And of course, because
the shuttle can't shoot back, I think, because he's out of arc.
Normally, the shuttle gets one defense dice, as told by the green number on your display. Unfortunately, Pete rolled too many there because he was the long range shot with Rexlar was with a heavy laser cannon, which of course for secondary weapons you do not get the extra defense die for range 3.
No.
And of course at range 1 you get extra attack die. So focus, talk us through it.
Okay, so the focus token is a little eyeball on token, as it looks like Robert's just removed from his decimator, and when you roll your die, you have on each die you have 2 eyeballs symbols, which is the symbol for focus, and you can choose to spend your focus token to turn those into a hit. So if you roll 4 attack die and you get 4 focus, and you got a focus token, you can go, well, I'm going to spend that, and they all become hits.
Or evades.
Or evades, if you're rolling for defense.
So you've got like a risk versus reward. You can either go for the 1 guaranteed evade, or the possibly evading a lot more.
Yes.
Or hitting a lot more.
Yes. So I've seen it a lot of times where people have spent on the attack and then rolled evades, and they've rolled 4 straight focuses, and they haven't got the focus to spend it. Yeah. Which is this game in a nutshell. This game is very risk reward heavy.
Yeah.
You have to take. It's very strategic, but you have to take the risk.
And of course,
you can't play it safe.
There's also target locks, which are a pair. You basically target lock your ship to another ship, and allows you to get a reroll, 1 free reroll of any number of dice that you wish, or to fire ordnance.
Yes, but there are some ordnance that do not require a target lock.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to spend it.
Some you do need to spend it, but some you just need to spend a focus instead. Which is I see more of them than you do other type of ordnance, because people like to keep the target lock to re-roll their ordnance. In that case, I can't quite remember what type of missiles they are.
I think you're talking about proton rockets.
Proton rockets. That is the one exactly. Thank you.
And here we go. Movement has just started, I believe. Oh no. I think it's will he boost in this turn, because boost allows you to move. You get the 1 template of 1 bank, 1 forward, not the turn.
I don't think so, because he's doing a hard turn. You see, and that's missed the asteroid.
I think he has just missed it. Yes, just missed it.
Both checking, but that looks like a very and of course if Peter landed on the asteroid, he would have had to roll an attack die
and lose his action.
And if he's on the asteroid, instead of going over it, he wouldn't be able to fire either.
It does bear wondering that he did forget to use advanced sensors before he turned, which he could have gotten further away from the asteroid by boosting one forward and then turning.
He could have, yes.
But you got to remember, with that, I put in a worse position than he is now.
It is sometimes easy to forget what you have on your ships.
I think the Decimator's going to bump.
here.
So it's going to lose his action, which is probably going to not to be too much. It's probably going to be out of range of anything else anyway.
Well, it depends where Robert goes. I can see, looking at where he is, I personally think his Decimator's going to swing in from the side, whereas the Defender's going to come in head on.
The Decimator can't go left because it will go over the asteroid, but it can go right, or maybe even straight forward. It may just miss the asteroid if it goes fast enough. The Defender, I can see pulling a left here, trying to get around the asteroid, trying to get outside the firing arc of the shuttle while keeping it in its zone.
About to find out.
And here we go. Well, it's a bank, it's not a turn, so definitely still within arc, but if I'm... Best thing to do here is use a barrel roll action.
Yes.
Place the template on the side, as you
exactly
see there,
what he's doing.
and you essentially shuffle to the right. Now, that most TIEs have that, most rebel ships don't. That is a great maneuver for getting out of firing arcs. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Unfortunately, that is his action, so he can't do anything else. He can't focus, he can't evade.
Yeah. Fantastic move right there by Robert. He hasn't got anything to modify, but with... if he's at range 1, he's got 4 attack dice. That's good odds there of getting at least 1 damage.
Yes.
Which with the shuttle...
Goes straight over.
So it's all or nothing bid here. Going through it, taking
Sometimes
the damage.
if you know you're going to go through an asteroid, you just have to go for it.
4 shields and 12 hull. You can take the damage.
You can. If he has to roll a damage. It's a damage or a crit he rolls. And
Damage or a crit, and he takes the result. And that's a hit, so he loses a shield.
Not really
that damaging. I mean, it's going to matter in the long run because 0 evade dice. That's important to note for the Decimator. It's got 0 evade dice, so it takes whatever it's dished out at it.
Yes.
But it's got its 3 attack and a 360-degree arc, so it's not too bad. The Defender is going to be the super heavy one, and here we go.
That looks like
2
hits
on the shuttle, 2 hits.
And one evade.
Lucky break there for the shuttle, so only 1 damage going for the shuttle.
Yes.
Just 1 shield's taken away. That could have gone a lot worse. That was quite lucky for Pete.
That was very lucky.
And
for those of you wondering why he's still rolling 4 attack die, even though he's out of within range 1, you roll an extra attack die at range 1. It's meant to signify close range combat.
Decimator versus the shuttle. A reroll with Predator. There we go. And I believe that is 4 hits.
That's
right
a lot of hits.
That's at least 3 because the shuttle can only evade 1, and it's an evading none.
So it's.
Oh no!
No, it's evading 1.
He's spending the focus to evade 1. Wise decision. Don't want to take too much damage on the shuttle, but even so, that shuttle is hurting right now.
That is. But they get to fight back now, which is the important thing. This will be Pete's first chance to attack.
And he's got to do some damage here. Look at that, 2 hit points left.
Yes.
That shuttle's gone from pretty much full hull on this turn to nothing.
Yes.
And that can be damaging. This is not going the way that Pete wants it to go. He needs to turn it around, literally turn it around.
Yes.
And bring your firing arcs in line and start to waylay upon the opponent, because the shuttle is going to pass his opponent's next turn. So he needs to be thinking about the long game.
Unless he decides to just stay where he is.
He's got a stress, so he can't. He turned last turn.
He did, unfortunately.
So he cannot stop. He has to clear the stress.
And they're both stressed.
They're both stressed, so both shots have to move. The rear one's definitely got a good shot here of doing some damage.
So that was obviously a critical hit he's taken, as he's put a critical hit token on the base of the shuttle.
Mm-hmm. And if I can stop my handy dandy little note thing here, I can tell you exactly what critical hit that was.
So it's looking like Pete's now going to attack. I think he's trying to figure out what he can attack, and I think the Defender is just out of arc.
Deadly. And actually, I think the shuttle might be double stressed because, of course, when it fires on the Decimator, which it is now, it's going to receive a stress token.
Yes, it is. And that looks like one hit.
One measly little hit. Oh, yep, there we go. One measly little hit. That's all it was. That was direct hit.
Right.
Direct hit and a hull breach there from Darth Vader.
That was 2 crits then.
Yeah, because he Vadered. When you got Vader, use him. You know. And here we go. Decimator. Decimator doing a long range shot. Can it fit? No, it's out of range.
Just out of range, unfortunately.
Just by a hair, and that's something which Pete needed. He needed that shot right there.
However, he might have been able to attack the Defender because Actually, no. Looking at it, Robert on the right has done that brilliantly. The Decimator and the Defender are pretty much level.
They are, meaning that they can. He's offering Pete a choice of who does he go for.
Yes.
Does he go for the weaker but more defense-orientated defender in terms of evading, or does he go with this big, strong, I'm going to last as long as I can Decimator?
Yes.
And here we go. Shot from the shuttle. Onto Rex Labrath at range 3. Extra defense dice for range 3.
Yes.
And I believe that's just one damage to Rex Labrath.
1 damage.
That was not good rolling on Rob's behalf there. I mean, okay, both had bad rolls there, but at least he got a damage through.
Yes. At least. For those as well that want to know, the Defender is quite an agile little ship. It can K-turn, which is basically come forward and then end up facing the other way, doing a complete 180 turn, without stressing itself. Which is what I think we might be seeing in a minute. For him to get behind those shuttles.
You have to wonder that the shuttle at the front that's got 2 stress is... The fact it's got 2 stress is going to make it really difficult.
It will do.
Rebel Captive is going to prove a real big issue. And also, because it moves first, and that Decimator's right in front of it, it's probably going to crash.
Probably, and as we said, because he's stressed, he cannot boost or anything, so yeah. Dial's going down?
Yeah, Dial's going down. And he can only do... he can only remove 1 stress per green move.
Yes.
It's important to note that the fire control system did activate. The shuttle at the rear has got a target lock on the Defender.
Yes.
That's going to be important for the long game. Probably next round he can get shot off, but of course, that's in Robert's mind. He knows he's got a target lock on him.
Yes.
He's going to try and get that Defender out of arc. And I predict maybe we will see a K-turn here.
Maybe.
Or my personal move here would be to probably get the Defender out of the way, probably turn it left through the asteroids. Left as it's coming down, right from the
Yes.
through the asteroid. Between the two, trying to get away from the action, come around at a later time
And
because
come from behind.
Because
that would be the smart play. That would be the smart play. It would be what I would do.
And movement has just started.
Yes. So
here we go.
left turn.
Left turn.
That will clear one of the stresses.
Clear one of the stresses, but it will cause a bump. But to be honest, if you're stressed, you don't care about
Yes,
the bump.
no. He and he can, as long as that shuttle survives, which it might do. We don't know.
Well,
very debatable.
Well, the Decimator is going to be able to fire at it because normally when ships crash, they can't.
But the Decimator is going to
The Decimator's
move,
going to
obviously.
move. So that's
Yes.
important. And there we go, removing one of the stresses out of the 2. And here we go. I want to know what the Defender's going to do personally. I'm really curious about what. And here we go. Second shuttle, probably do a 1 forward.
I think a K-turn. I think a K-turn to bring him up behind to help his Decimator. But
And here we go.
we never know.
Oh.
And that, as we said earlier, that's landed on the asteroid.
Yeah, that's an asteroid land right there. That's down.
So he won't get his attack.
He won't get an attack.
But he clears his stress
He
still.
clears the stress at least. That's something.
And here we go.
Here
with
we
the
go.
dice roll.
Oh, that's not what you want.
No.
That's another hit through to the.
Luckily,
double
as luckily as you can be, it's on the undamaged shuttle as opposed to the damaged shuttle.
But it's still one hit
It's
that you're
still-
taking that you don't want to take
Yes.
at any time. That's deadly. And here we go. Decimator's now going to turn. Oh, he's going straight forward, hoping to clear the shuttle. I don't think he is.
No.
I think the base is a bit too wide. If
it was a fight.
Actually,
No,
he's done it.
that's very nicely flying.
Masterful piloting there from Pete. It seems that even in his state, he's still fine. Now, at this point, the Defender is definitely going to get boxed in at some point.
It is.
If it goes left, it's exposing its rear.
And even if Robert was to barrel roll, it wouldn't matter because of the
360
the
yard.
360 yard. The only thing he could hope to do was be to get behind an asteroid.
Well, at this point, probably the best thing that could happen is a standard 2 forward and then barrel roll out of the shuttle's arc.
Yes.
Because he doesn't. The Decimator's going to fire at it. That's academic. So we know that's going to happen. And Rob knows that too. So he's going to probably go for broking into the Decimator. And here we go. Look at that. The 4-speed maneuver straight on the Decimator, getting behind the landed shuttle, right next to it, opening its broadsides, ready to waylay upon that.
Yes, it's a what's the word I was looking for? They're very agile. Those Decimators. They are very agile for their size.
Surprisingly agile for their size. Yes. one turn, they can do all sorts of things, and there's a focus, I believe.
Yes. It's no 2400 or 1300, but they are for what they are, for basically being a flying tank. That is what they are. They can move at a quick pace, and as we see, Robert is just going straight in.
Right there.
I honestly do not think he was expecting the decimator to go where it did.
No, I thought it would. I think he was expecting the shuttle, the decimator to bump behind the shuttle and give support to the rear, but it seems that Pete's changing his tactics slightly, trying to box the defender in.
Yes.
Wise choice. I don't know what to go for, because you've got a high evade ship versus low defense,
yes.
then a high defense and less low evade. So they kind of cancel each other out, really. You've kind of got no easy target when you're here. Oh, here we go. Target locking. Decimator the defender is target locking the decimator.
Yes.
Definitely trying to get in those extra hits. It's also worth noting that the defender has 2 target locks placed upon it from the rear shuttle with fire control system and the decimator itself. So there is definitely an exchange of fire, and I think we may be seeing this defender go down.
Maybe. However, no, we won't be able to, because even if Pete can get a full 3 hits on it with his decimator, his shuttle cannot fire.
Look at that. 3 hits right there on the shuttle. Oh, he's stressed, so of course, Rebel Captive activates, so the defender is now stressed.
Yes.
It's important to note that the Rebel Captive on there, and also with Mara Jade there, it means... Actually, no, Rebel Captive's not the shuttle, it's Mara Jade that's on the shuttle, so... Interesting to know. Oh, here we go, another exchange of fire from Decimator.
And I believe that's on the other decimator.
Yeah.
I believe Robert is doing the smart thing and going for the bigger threat.
He's spending the focus. No, he's shooting at the shuttle.
Is he?
Yes, he is, shooting at the shuttle. The shuttles are the weak ones at this point. Take them down, then deal with the decimator later. He's going for a points victory. He cannot kill the decimator in the time he's got. Going for the shuttles.
Well, okay. I honestly thought he was going for the decimator, as shown by the graphic. Is lost on the decimator.
My apologies. I obviously
that's why I got confused.
My notes must be wrong here. And here we go.
And here's
Decimator.
Pete. That's 2 hits. He's spending his target lock on the
defender.
Here
we go.
And that's 4 hits. That is 4 hits. And that is 2 evades. So the shuttle and 1 damage. 1 critical damage.
It's munitions failsafe. He loses his heavy laser cannon. Ooh, now that changes things quite considerably.
That's going to hurt him. That is going to hurt him.
Now, to get that 4 damage, he's going to get in range 1. He's going to get in the thick of it with 2 hull left. That's not good.
That's not where you want a defender to be. The whole point of a defender is to sit on the outside and to pound in, pound in, pound in.
And it's worth noting, thank you, Darth Vader, for that.
Yes.
God. Okay, so yeah, things are starting to turn back in Pete's favour. However, he still has to turn those shuttles around.
He does still have to turn those shuttles around. I personally, at the moment, I can't see Pete winning this.
No,
but I can see him taking out the defender at least.
Yeah, the defender is definitely his weakest point. It's blood in the water. You've got to think Pete's thinking about that.
Yes.
And that is 45 points worth right there. So if he can take that down, that's half.
That is
Robert's lift.
And even if Robert takes out his shuttle, as long as Pete can take out that defender and they go to time, the defender is worth pretty much double what the shuttle is.
The shuttles, yeah. The most expensive one is worth 28 points.
Exactly. So Pete would win on points. He's over 12 points. So it's 17 points difference, and so because it's over 12 points, it wouldn't be a modified win, it would be an outright victory.
And you got to think if that's going through Robert's head at this point,
It might be. But to be fair, whenever I'm flying in the tournament, you don't think of that sort of stuff. You just think...
I've got to beat him.
Think of the moment and how you're going to take down the next ship. You don't actually think, oh, right, if I take this ship, that's going to give me that point.
Sometimes you've got to think of the long game, really. You've got to think of the win, because there is a time limit to this,
There is that as well.
It's only 5 minutes, and that's not a lot of time.
Sounds long.
Sounds long, but it's not a lot.
But you'd be surprised when you think, oh, you're only on turn 4 or 5, and all of a sudden you get told there's only 10 minutes of the round left, and you're like,
Where did the time go?
Yeah, what have I been doing?
Now, it's important to note, defender is stressed.
Yes. Is it?
Yes, it is stressed, because it fired up on the shuttles.
Oh, of course it did.
Just decimate. I think the shuttle's going to crash on the defender. Let's see.
However, the shuttle will still have his target lock, and going for the red maneuver means he won't be able to
To get focus.
Thank you. Won't be able to perform his action. Sorry, people. I keep on. I'm having mind blanks
Which,
today.
of course, with a target with focus, the chance of doing at least 1 damage, I think, shoots to 97%, which is good odds when you think about that.
Very good odds.
Which brings it up from a really low number. Really, getting 1 hit on a natural roll is not impossible, but it's fairly unusual.
It is. What you don't want to do is spend your focus before the target lock. You want to spend the target lock because you don't want to spend your focus then spend your target lock and finally get 2 more focus. It sounds common sense, but it's something I have seen people do. It's something I have done myself when I first started this game.
And here goes Ken
Here
Kirk.
goes Ken Kirk.
No, that's not Ken Kirk. That's the patrol leader.
Yes, sorry, that's Pete.
He is bumping. But it's nice sportsmanship on Robert's part to help his opponent.
Players do that a lot in this game.
I like that. I like that. The fly casual aspect of the game.
All right, now. Okay.
Now I'm predicting, and this is pretty much an obvious play here. I think the defender is going to do a 5k turn through the decimator. And here we go.
That looks like a left turn. Hard left 2.
Hard left 2.
Of course it's a left turn. He's moving to the left.
Here we go. Hard left 2.
Yes.
And of course, that I think supports my theory. Defender's going to come right through the middle there, turn, and right there.
Yes.
Right in front of the decimator.
I think at this moment, Robert's thinking if he can take out Pete's decimator before the decimator can take out the defender, then he can sit quite happily behind the shuttles.
And here we go, corner to corner. Not going in the nubs, just doing it on the fly, which, sometimes you've got to do that.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'd end up bumping some stuff. Now, important to note, people, there's no negative trait for they decided to actually
move it. Yes.
They're snookering the decimator.
Which, again, you have to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what ship you have to do. Sometimes you just have to move it,
yeah,
unfortunately.
It's one of those unfortunate things where sometimes you just have to do it. And here we go. So obviously Robert's holding it in place. Oh, Pete's now holding it in place.
Robert can move it.
Yeah, Robert's not doing it.
Again, players helping players out in this game. It's fantastic to see.
There we go. The white K-turn, which normally be red, but on defender it's white.
It is.
Doesn't clear the stress, but he's now sitting right behind the decimator, probably at range 1.
Still got a target lock on the decimator.
Yeah. Didn't spend it last round.
No.
Wise decision now. That I think
very wise.
And there we go. It looks like the decimator's coming for a hug.
It does. Oh, come to mummy.
Come to mummy.
Come to mummy.
Alright then, here we go.
Oh, the decimator is actually attacking the shuttle. The defender's attacking the shuttle.
Well, it's the weak... like I say, it is the weak one. And here we go, 3 hits. Oh, no. 2 hits in the focus.
And that's 1 evade.
There's an evade.
So that's losing 1 shield.
Not terribly good. But not terribly bad either.
Personally, I would have gone for the decimator. I would have tried to take the decimator out before... Well, he's going to attack decimator now with his decimator, but I would have attacked the decimator with the defender before I could get attacked.
But you got to think though that defender's already stressed from doing that, so he's probably wanting to avoid getting double stressed.
There is that. There we
go. Is that
1 hit? I don't know. I can't see what's up top.
That's
a predator reroll.
Oh, predator reroll.
And that's 2 hits.
Well, not amazingly good, but not terrible.
In fact, no. It looks like that was a focus he spent. He spent his focus. He took the action. I was thinking where the stress, but obviously the stress came from when he declared the decimator the target of his attack, which makes sense.
And as you can see, Pete's decimator is not looking too good right now.
No, it's not.
It's the hull is being chewed through that thing, and that, of course, is not good. Pete is probably going to win this. Lose this.
Robert, yes, yeah.
I'm saying, I'm just calling it right now.
That was another
Vader crit, damage sensor array, no actions.
That is going to affect him. Sorry, I'm forgetting how to talk today. I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's because you're on stream.
Yes.
Be professional, man.
I'm trying.
God, like I'm one to talk.
Yes. But here we go. Pete's finally getting a chance to fire back.
And this is the point where he has to do as much damage as he possibly can.
He needs.
The decimator is the only thing that can fire.
He's stressed because he's going for the other decimator.
He's going for the decimator, so he's getting stressed.
Really? That's an interesting choice.
I guess he's thinking about the chance of doing damage is better against the decimator than it is against the defender. You got guaranteed damage versus maybe doing damage. And there's another hit, and of course, I'm pretty sure he's going to Vader it. Yes, he does. He Vaders it. Oh, it's a direct hit. He discards Moff Gerajord, flips it face down.
Yes.
Good move for Gerajord. Means he can't discard Rebel Captain Vader, but maybe that's part of the tactic. This is late in the game. He probably thinks not going to probably need to do that again.
Exactly.
But even then, Ken Kirk has taken some hits.
Some.
Pete's decimator is down to 4 hits. Not good. Pete's at least on 9. Not Pete's. Robert's on 9.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Again, that is something I personally would have gone for the defender.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
And still,
nothing's dead.
Nothing's dead. And the shuttle is flying. Still hasn't managed to turn itself around. The decimator is now getting behind it again. It's that stress. It's not just how he needs to remember advanced sensors, boost, turn.
Unfortunately, he can't because both his shuttles are stressed.
Unfortunately,
he can't advance sensors them.
Well, he cleared his last stress last on the shuttle. Unfortunately,
because he was on the asteroid, he couldn't do advanced sensors.
And then, of course, getting off it because of the shuttle.
Turn.
Yeah, turn. You know, this game has not gone at all well for Pete. He's made too many mistakes. At this point, I think it's pretty easy to call.
It is pretty easy. However, I think he's realised that he has survived a lot longer than you would have thought.
Yeah, and to be honest, it can very quickly turn. If Rexa Brath would be killed this round, that would really change up the game.
That would.
Suddenly, one of the damage dealers and one of the most maneuverable craft that you've not got a chance of hitting is down. You just got to shoot enough at the decimator and it will get destroyed.
Yes. Here we go. Dials being placed.
Dials have been placed for the new round.
But I mean, it's not like Pete hasn't done anything. I mean, you look on the right hand side of the board, you can see the damage the other ships have taken. You can see.
Oh yeah, he's definitely done considerable damage. It's just he's not done enough consistency with the damage.
Yeah.
And he's not had enough ships firing at his opponent.
His problem has been he's been spreading his fire between the two.
Well, I was concerned when I saw 2 shuttles on this list because shuttles are not really things you associate with damage dealing ships. You have to really work hard to make them work. And
I was very surprised when I saw him put him down because I thought he was joking when he said he was going to fly him in the tournament.
Once again, forgetting advanced sensors and not boosting before he turns. Rookie mistake. Here we go, another stress.
But to be fair to Pete, he's only been playing for a few months. He started coming to the club at very, very end of November, so he hasn't been. He's only been playing a few months. This was his first
tournament.
Store tournament. And then for his first match of the day, not only was he hungover, he's stuck on camera.
I think it
can be very, very disorientating.
I agree. I think the mistake was getting rat-arsed the previous year.
There was that as well, yes, but
excuse my language. Okay, here we go. Is that one back? Yes.
Yes.
One back. Clearing the stress. Probably trying to block the decimator.
Maybe, yes.
Of course, Robert maybe missing.
I think he's trying to hope to block the decimator, so then I think he wants the defender to crash into him, or to block the defender's move.
That could be an option as well. Although I'm pretty sure that shuttle's probably going to go on an asteroid next turn.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
it is. I'm just thinking, there's anything he can do with advanced sensors, but unfortunately there isn't.
Let's see. Does Rob pass it? He does. Well, maybe.
Well, that's Pete. That's Pete's.
Yes,
ship,
yeah. Now does Pete? Pete's
yes, Pete's going to pass that.
Oh, yes, of course. There we go. Ding dong.
Yeah, Pete. Pete's decimator was higher than Rob's. That's not a trick of the camera. Rob's is only on one peg, whereas Pete's using an epic ship peg. So
very neat move, actually. I do like that solution to the problem. It makes it high enough that it clears most things.
Yes, and also it's easier to, when you've got 2 decimators on the board, it's easier to tell which one's yours and which one's your opponent's.
Not for me on camera, it seems.
Yeah, yes.
But that's the case. I just don't see this going well because, again, the shuttles. I don't think the shuttle's going to be anywhere near facing in the right direction they need to. I mean, the flying shuttle's got an arc of the decimator, but it's now about to move.
Yes.
That's the problem. And had he boosted, it'd be fine. But no. Oh, are we seeing a straight here from the decimator? That'd be curious if we are.
It looks it.
We've got a
we've got a
snooker. Oh, it's a bank. Does he clear the defender?
I think he might just. It's quite hard to tell.
Very hard to tell. I think it may just be a clear if it is clearance.
Yeah, he's trying to see if it is. And
what is it?
No, it's not.
No.
So maybe
The shuttle may have an arc here.
yes, maybe what happened was Robert. What's the one again? Robert must have. I do it all the time. I plan moves, forgetting one of my ships always has to move before the other one. So I plan moves for if my fighter goes here, then my decimator can go here.
And
then thinking, but my decimator moves first
this
when it
is
comes time to doing
This is a perfect opportunity for Pete. He's got an arc on the decimator with the shuttle. He can open up fire with the shuttle. 3 dice, not at range. One probably a range 2 shot.
Yes.
Not going to get any benefits either side. That's going to go well.
That it will go well. But then again, Robert's going to know that. And of this being the shuttle that's damaged, Robert might decide to put his fire on that to at least get a point cost.
It's worth noting here also that Ken Kirk has actually got his ability has now activated. Ken Kirk's ability is if you have no shield and at least 1 damage card assigned to you increase your agility value by 1.
Yes.
So the Decimator can actually evade 1 hit with any luck.
And what is Rexlar's ability?
Rexlar's ability, after you perform an attack that deals at least 1 damage card to the defender, you may spend a focus token to flip those cards face up. So essentially, you deal damage to the opponent and you flip the cards face up. However...
And it says cards, not cards. So if you do deal 3 damage, you can then suddenly turn them to 3 crits.
It does require you to spend that focus, though. So that requires natural hits and no evades, which is very difficult to do.
Very difficult. It's at combat?
Range 1. Defender on Decimator. Range 1. Oh,
D action.
Look at that. Target lock. Definitely target lock. Only 2 hits. Still, Decimator's going to take those hits. So, I guess that's something. But still,
the Decimator's only got 2 health left.
I know. If he'd got those 2 extra damage, it would have been down. That would have been it.
And so now you've got to think...
defensively at this point.
Not defensively. Robert's got to think, does he want to go for the shuttle to prevent the shuttle from getting a shot on him, or does he want to go for the Decimator and go for the most points?
That's true.
Because they both got exactly the same hull.
That's true. I think at this point, if it were me, I would try for the Decimator.
Yes.
Because it's a potential kill. In fact, he's evaded 1 more hit crit right to the hull, which was another damage, which was a structural damage.
Right.
This is just by 1, not that it matters on his...
No.
Yes, he's going for the shuttle. Range 3.
Yeah. For the Decimator people. And that looks like
1 hit. Or went off screen, can't see. There's a Predator reroll.
But that looks like 1 hit, and that's all he needs.
That's all he needs. I believe that's it.
Yes.
There we go.
There we go.
The patrol leader has been taken down.
First death of the game.
Yes. And it's a Decimator.
Yes.
Usually you don't expect a Decimator to be the first ship that goes down in a game.
No.
And at this point, Pete, unfortunately...
There's nothing Pete can do to win this. No. Nothing.
By the time he would manage to turn the shuttles around,
the
other ships would be able to get behind him.
Yeah. If he'd been able to take out that defender, he might have had a chance, but it just isn't looking up for him at the moment, unfortunately. Which is a shame, because he when he puts his mind to it, he is a brilliant player.
Oh,
that's range
3.
So that would be 2 defense die for the Decimator.
Yes. Assuming Robert remembers that he has that ability.
Yeah. And that looks like 2 hits. No evades. That's nicely done.
Well played.
Very well played.
And I believe that's a Vader as well. Oh, Vader's on the shuttle. Yeah, you could Vader up. Smaying the crit, which was damage cockpit. This is really...
Unfortunately, I don't think Pete can Vader it up, because if he did, he'd be destroying his own shuttle.
That is true. Vader would destroy the shuttle, but then again, it's a crit to a Decimator, and crits can really...
It's a crit to a Decimator that's going to now sit behind his shuttle wherever he goes.
True.
It's not worth the risk, in my mind.
I agree.
It's not worth the risk.
It is not worth the risk.
This turn, Pete can shallow bank to the left with his shuttle, then boost to the left. Keep the shuttle in arc.
Assuming the Decimator continues the way it's going, because if it turns, then the shuttle's probably not going to have it in arc.
No. There is that.
We'll see.
One thing I did notice on the day was people were using decimators more and more in the fray instead of. The whole point of your decimator is to sit around the outside dealing damage.
You would have thought
and I was
that.
seeing on the day that people were just like, "Here's a decimator. I'm just going to throw it in the middle of this swarm, in the middle of these fighters, in the middle of these ships."
Well, if it's Captain Oiken who does damage when you hit an opponent, then of course you're going to do that.
Yeah, but there wasn't. There was only one. I only saw one Captain Oiken on the day. There might have been a few more, but there was only one I saw.
In fact, one of them is actually one of the matches on our YouTube channel.
Yes, or will be on our YouTube channel, as it were.
Yeah, if it's not up already, it'll be up soon.
Yes.
One shuttle is obviously going to go. Well,
maybe
it could turn and probably just miss the asteroid, but then it also makes it predictable.
It does.
So you got to wonder: do you want predictability?
I think people go for the risk of the one damage on his shield. At this time,
can you afford that damage? That's the question.
That is the question. I'm just trying to see. There is still about 15 minutes of this match left, so.
Well, it'll be decided.
This will be interesting.
Yeah. In that time, the defender and Kenka could effectively have its hull removed.
Could.
So let's see. Dials now being placed for the planning phase.
Yes.
And checking
That's
dials.
double checking, which is always double check. You always want to double check. Mistakes can be made. You think you might have done one maneuver and you end up flying yourself off the board, which I have seen on the day. There were people on the day who flipped the dials over and for some reason, instead of doing right, they went left and flew their Luke Skywalker right off the board.
At the start of the game.
At the start of the game. Very first move.
I wish we had that on camera.
It was, yeah, so you always double, triple check your dials.
One back from the shuttle, obviously clearing its stress that it gained from Rebel Captive. Good shot on the Decimator. If Decimator turns, he may just have it in arc.
Yes.
Could be clipping it, maybe. We'll see. Defender, probably going to K-turn, I'd imagine.
Oh, he's target locking.
Oh!
Interesting. I don't know, maybe the defender's going to want to clear that stress?
It's been stressed for the last few rounds, really, and it's been okay at doing its damage.
And here we go with the other shuttle.
What's he doing? What's he doing? Oh, he's going for it.
He's going for it.
I would have gone the other way.
Yeah.
Then again, you don't know whether the defender's going to... If Robert had guessed that and turned the defender to the bank to the right and just catch it in the
maybe what he wants to do, and that's focus.
Focus.
He's fine.
No, he's fine. No hit.
Maybe what Pete's wanting to do is to bring it round and try to come in from behind.
Now, probably going to be a left turn here through the asteroids. See where he's going.
Right turn. That is very interesting.
Yeah, so he's obviously predicted that the shuttle probably would go that way.
Unfortunately, it looks... Yeah, the shuttle behind him's going to have a shot on him, but the shuttle in front isn't. So if I was Robert, I would go for the one behind him.
So I got 2 hull, range 3 shot, but you got a good shot at doing some damage there.
He could turn... And so I'm predicting his defender's going to turn to the right to start opening up on the other shuttle.
No, I think it'll be a K-turn. K-turn's much easier to do. Defenders don't like to turn, they like to K-turn.
Yeah.
Because turning most... the 1 and 2 turn on the defender's dial is red. And
yeah,
4K turn.
Yeah.
Which, of course, white does not do anything.
No.
Doesn't take stress, doesn't clear stress.
Which is the best thing about the defender. It's one... I don't like the defender to fly. The Phantom's alright, but the defender I don't.
It's very expensive what it is.
It is almost 40 points for one fighter.
I mean, you get 3 in each stat block. 3 attack, 3 defense, 3 hull, 3 shield. But it's 30 points.
Yes.
It's quite a lot of points to spend. Okay, combat. Range 3 on the shuttle. That's quite good. Obviously, seeing...
And that'll be through an asteroid, maybe?
I don't think it is. I think...
No.
I think that... No, it's not.
Yes, close point to closest point. So that's...
Oh, 1 hit.
1 hit.
That's not what you want.
Unfortunately.
No, that's not going to be good. The shot's probably...
In fact, that even looked like a focus.
Yeah, it was a focus. Yeah, no hits at all. Should have cleared the stress.
Should have cleared the stress. And...
1 hit from the Decimator.
Oh, and
Predator reroll.
Yeah, both of them because it's Pilot Skill 2.
Yeah. Oh! Okay.
Pete can't evade this.
No, he's dying no matter what he does.
Yes.
Actually, he's range 3, so he maybe, with 2 dice, just managed to pull it out.
Maybe.
Just.
He needs to roll off 2 natural evades
and
here.
hope that crit, because it's a crit, is not direct hit.
Yes.
No. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote. Gone. You did well for your empire, but it's over now, boy.
However, it's taken longer than I thought.
Yeah,
with Robert has got two heavy damage dealers there, and Pete has managed to survive long.
But
a
you've got to
long
think,
time.
is that due to fault on Robert's side or Pete's tactical mind? I think it's a little bit.
I think
both.
it's 50-50.
I think
it's a bit of both
because
yeah.
Pete's flown quite well.
Yes.
Considering he has made some mistakes, but Robert has also neglected to clear stress and focus things up.
Yes, and sometimes when you think he should go for the obvious shot, he ends up going for the other one. I think what hurt Robert though was he only got to use his heavy laser cannon once in the entire game. Once. I think he was expecting to get his defender in there and then swing it round and get outside of range 2 again, but it just didn't happen.
But there is always that danger. You've got to consider that. Well, that shuttle probably is going down in the next 2 rounds.
Yes. I'm predicting... I'm predicting the shuttle will stay exactly where it is.
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
Pete's hoping that the Decimator will come round, he'll at least manage to get a shot off on it.
He won't kill it, but he'll definitely do some damage. Possibly even a couple of crits if lucky.
Yes, if lucky. Oh no, he's turning.
Oh, he's turning. Now, if, against all the odds, if he were to get 4 crits, and they all be direct hit, then he could take out Kenny.
Yes, against the odds. However, I don't think that will happen.
But theoretically, that is a long odd.
I don't think there's enough double damage direct hits in the entire damage deck.
I think there's enough. Unfortunately, some of them are probably already on the table.
Yes. No, that's a bump. So they're not going to get to attack each other this turn.
Which, Rob, of course, with the 3 turn, did predict that there would be a bump and probably be a bump.
Yes.
Obviously trying to mitigate damage, and of course, all that turning worth for naught for Pete. Sadly.
Robert might be sitting here thinking now maybe he should have taken Eugen.
Yeah.
Now he's run into some of his ships, he would have dealt some more damage.
And he would still be firing before his opponents.
But that always seems to be the way. I've seen it in so many ships, like in the games where you play Eugen, you just never get a chance to run into anyone.
That is true.
It just seems to be the way.
Because people know you're running Eugen and therefore avoid you.
Yeah, in other games where you don't have Eugen, it's like you're just running into everything that moves.
And of course, Robert here's barrel rolling to get better arc on the shuttle there.
Which is the way to do it.
Cleared the stress, thankfully.
He might be in range, we'll find out.
It may just be through an asteroid, I think. Just barely. Could be out. We'll see.
So
here we are, Defender.
Range 3.
Definitely range 3. The question is the asteroid. I don't think it is. I think... We'll see whether how very dice they roll. Okay. 2 focus.
Yeah.
Nothing. Worth for naught. And now we're back to planning phase again.
It was worth the effort. However... I think it's pretty safe to see where the shuttle's going this time, so Robert could have a chance to clear that stress.
No, I think...
Oh, no, he did clear the stress. He did clear the stress.
I think the shuttle will stay where it is. No, it can't, because it turned, didn't it?
Yes, it's stressed. It can't.
God.
Unfortunately.
This has been an interesting, if slow, game.
It's been slow, and I will admit, when you look at the list on the left, you look at Decimator and 2 shuttles, you think it was going to be a boring game, but it hasn't been. It's been very... It's been unpredictable. It has been very unpredictable.
I did have a chance to interview Pete just after the match, and I quote Pete when he says that shuttles, he likes them. They're like an old Volvo, cheap, reliable, and tanky.
Yes.
you gotta love.
You do.
You gotta love the people. Yeah.
Yes. That is the kind of characters we have down here at Athena Games. People.
Yeah.
Who fly space Volvos.
Space Volvos, I love it. That's the new nickname that I'm calling them. No longer the Space Cow, the Space Volvo.
Yes.
Oh, 3 banked from the Decimator, clearing the shuttle easily there. Oh, I have to put it back on its peg, thankfully. That seems to always fall off its peg.
It does. Again, I think that's the reason why Pete may have used the Epic ship base, because it's a bit more secure.
I mean, it's not often that you get the slight defects you can admit to. I mean, the quality in this game is amazing.
Yes. We take the mick out of FFG all the time for lateness for everything, but then when they finally do release the new waves, the new ships, you can kind of understand why, because the quality of them all is amazing.
They run by an ethos which I live by, which is I'd rather get it done slow and get it done right rather than rush
quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity.
Which some games that I like to play, and some games
let's
could learn from their efforts.
Let's not go there, all right? We're not going to mention attack wing. Oh,
No,
sorry.
What wing? What wrong wing? I believe it's called wrong wing.
No, we both play attack.
Yeah, we do both play attack.
Yeah.
We.
There's a target lock.
Don't judge us.
Yeah, there's a target
There
lock.
is.
Wise decision given what happened last round. So hopefully, and then he rolls 2 hits and focus. So
Yes.
obviously keeping nothing.
Is that one of aid or is
That's
that
a
a focus?
focus.
That's a focus. So I believe when Pete tried to move, he didn't clear the base, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately so. Which is kind of a bump. It's kind of a stop for maneuver if you believe it that way. Cleared the stress at least. Oh god, Decimare. Oh, Predator reroll.
4.
Oh, 4 hits. That's
And Pete's got 1 evade die.
That's not good. There's an evade.
There is 1 evade, so he's down to
that's
4
three,
hull.
he's down to
4
4
hull.
Well, that could have gone better, but
It could have been a lot worse.
could have been a lot worse. However, I'm also fully aware that Robert did not spend that target lock with his defender.
No. There's just, and unfortunately, the shuttle is just so slow and cumbersome. There's no way he can get him back in arc.
No.
Just no.
I know what that shuttle is going to do, and I believe he evaded it up for 1 more hit. Yes, he did. He evaded it up, and the crit.
Is it to deal a crit or to turn one into a crit?
You deal a crit.
You deal a crit.
So you're dealing an extra damage. So
Yes.
why not? You know,
Which
structural damage.
you normally see that on a shuttle, but it's interesting to see it on a decimator,
Well, I
which
guess
makes sense because
It
the
makes
decimator
sense.
can take
so
the
much,
damage.
So much hull, you don't care if you do
No.
to it, and you use it when you most need it.
Yes.
I mean, better you destroy your own hull than your opponent does.
Yes.
isn't it?
Exactly. Yes. You know,
least
that
you
way you've only got yourself to blame.
At least you're getting something out of it. You know,
Exactly.
you're doing a damage or a crit even. You know.
Unfortunately, Robert here is going to have to do a hard left.
Yes.
Otherwise, he is off the board.
Which that would change the game.
That would change the game.
Dramatically. Especially in the last few minutes.
I think Pete would be very happy with that.
I believe he would
But
be.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think it's going to happen either. Now the defender's got its target lock, so it's obviously next time going to focus it up.
Yes.
Get the maximum chance of doing maximum amount of damage.
Yes.
I predict that next round we will see the shuttle die.
I believe
And that's
you might
without
be
looking
right.
without looking at my notes.
That's just thinking about the fact that he's going to have 6, possibly 7 die thrown at him. Yes, and he can only roll 1 evade.
Yes.
I think you're right. I do think you're right, and I think it might even come from the defender alone.
Yeah, I agree. Pete's played a good game today. At least he did very well. At least he's enjoyed himself. You know, it's not about winning; it's about enjoying himself.
It is about enjoying, but I don't think he was able to enjoy himself as much as he wanted, just because of the way he was feeling. Unfortunately,
You don't choose to side with the bright light, then.
That he gets no sympathy for.
There he is. 3. Obviously trying to avoid
Oh,
anything which comes anywhere near him. He's probably going to be out of range of the Decimator, so maybe he could survive this.
Maybe he can survive 1 more round, which if he.
He's
Unfortunately, there's
he's
Robert's won by points now.
Yeah.
I think what all Pete can try and hope for is to try and stop a clean sweep.
Yeah, he's just delaying that double. Because, of course, it does matter if your opponent doesn't destroy you, because it just means they don't get extra points.
Yes, because
So-
if the shuttle died, that would be a 100-0 victory for Robert in the first round of the game, which is very important. And K-turn through the asteroid.
Hail Mary through the asteroid. Why not?
So unfortunately, he won't get his action.
No, but why not? You know, it's there we go.
And,
See, that could have gone really badly.
That could have gone.
But it was masterful work. I have to admit that was amazing.
I didn't expect it.
No,
I honestly didn't expect it.
Then again,
and it's out of arc.
Actually, thinking about it, it was the wise decision, because
It was.
1 turn and a 2 turn on that thing is red.
Yes.
Just deliberating that it's out of arc.
Yeah.
And of course it is out of arc. They decided. Checking the range to the Decimator, I assume. Out of range. Pretty much easy to see that.
Yes.
So Peter survived another
1 more
round.
round. Yes. At this moment in time, because unfortunately, when you've only got a shuttle, they can't K-turn.
No.
So you just you have got that stop in space, but you can't K-turn. You can't. So unfortunately, unless Robert does something monumental to screw up, Pete's not going to get him back in arc at all this game.
No, it's over. It's over at this point.
It is.
However,
However, he, like as we said, he's done brilliantly to last this long, and and he must be frustrating Robert. He must be frustrating Robert with this, which will help because Robert being frustrated increases the chance of him making a mistake
and just going for it and then making that mistake because that run for the asteroid was quite a risky move.
It was. It's right. He could have taken the damage, and then
if he'd taken crit and direct hit, that would have been that defender gone.
You don't take crit for asteroids, do you?
You do take crits for asteroids.
I thought it was just a hit.
No, you take it for crits.
Oh, do you? I do not.
Yes.
Again,
you take the result.
Again, been playing this game over a year. You learn a new thing every day.
You learn the rules every day.
Yes, you do. I've never knew that.
Yeah, you take the damage. Or you take the crit. So you take the result, whatever it is. Which does not mean that you take a focus every time you land on it, unfortunately.
Yeah. that would be interesting.
Yeah, I go over the asteroid again and focus.
Yeah. How does that work? Expert piloting.
Expert piloting, yeah. I'm focusing on not hitting the asteroid.
Yes,
So
exactly. Yeah, see, that's how they should do it.
Okay, so...
that is that.
I'm willing to bet that the defender's probably going to do a 3 left turn. Probably... I think he'll push his luck and go for a bank through the asteroid again. Trying to get an arc in the shell. Decimator obviously is going to have to go forward because if it turns, it's going to hit an asteroid. So Pete may have delayed this game for another couple of rounds if he's lucky. Speaking of Pete, where is he going?
If the defender can bank and then barrel roll, he might be able to get him in arc.
But of course, if he goes to the asteroid, he won't.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, Pete hopefully won't forget about his action because he's cleared his stress by doing that. Which,
obviously he did.
Oh yeah, obviously he did.
And there we go, another base mishap. Yeah, happens.
They really, and it only seems to be the Decimator. Every other large ship I've played with doesn't seem to do that. But
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Off.
It depends on the peg. Some pegs are tighter than others.
Yeah.
I just go. I screen my pegs.
Interesting. He is playing it safe now.
Playing it safe. That is going to be a stress because it's a 1 turn. But yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately, the
so why is he barrel rolling?
No, it's a 1 bank.
Oh, 1 bank. Yes,
it's a 1 bank.
Of course.
Which isn't a stress, but the unfortunately the turn is.
Well, in that case, that's easy to determine. This is going to be a 3 turn next round for that thing.
Yes. Yes.
Coming through the asteroid, try and catch the shuttle head on.
There we go. Pete's finally remembered he should have taken the stress off.
Good boy. You don't want to forget that.
No.
You don't want to forget that.
No.
Then again, he's going to clear it next round anyway.
Yes.
So, but then you can't use advanced sensors. He's got fire control system.
Yeah. But you can advance sensors now, though.
He can't because that was on the flying shuttle. This one is the one that has fire control system and Mara Jade.
Oh yes, yes. Unfortunately.
Okay, dial's now being placed. Pete, very quick with the dial, knows exactly what he's doing.
Which looks like a 2 forward.
Called exactly right by you, Mr. Jonathan. I admit, I was told this is a boring game. It's not a boring game. It's a really interesting game. It's just not a lot happens in it.
It's
very tactical.
It's more like a game of chess. There's a lot more thinking in this game than there is a lot of X-Wing games. It's you think about it, but at the same time you get people who just want to get in there, get in the fray. This one
shuttle focus down. Oh god, Decimator has moved onto an asteroid.
Oh.
This is where things start to turn around.
Yes.
And that's a hit.
That's a hit.
That's a hit.
That is, unfortunately.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. So things happen.
Which Pete unfortunately can't use to Vader up. No.
But he's not going to get fired at by the Decimator, at least. No. That is something.
This turn. But
then again,
defender
here comes the defender. With a 2 bank.
But if he 2 banks and barrel rolls, he'll be nicely in arc.
Probably through the asteroid, though. That's the thing.
There is that. Which
give the shuttle 2 defense dice, which against 3 attack dice. I don't know. I don't know.
That might. If it is through the asteroid, it will literally be just through the asteroid.
Actually, yeah, I agree. I believe that's a good line of sight.
Yes, that would just be. Unfortunately,
it's not through the asteroid.
But it is range 2, so it's only 3 die.
But it's enough.
Which is. And he spent the target lock, obviously.
Spent the target lock, 2 hits.
Yeah.
Well, shuttle surviving another round at least.
Again, they are hardy things. These shuttles, they can be difficult to take down.
Oh yes, definitely.
At this point
Don't
in the
ever count
game,
him out.
I'm thinking Pete would have been better off with possibly a fire spray in his list.
Yes, with the rear auxiliary arc, he would have
Yeah.
been much more handy. I agree with that.
Yes, but you will see there was one of the other games
Funny-
that was recorded had a shuttle decimator
Yes,
fire spray list.
indeed, yes. That was Andy. That was Andy's 36
36 Shades of Brown.
36 Shades
Yeah.
of Brown.
You'll see why. It's cool.
Okay, so the shuttle obviously is doing. I'm predicting that's going to do a 1 bang.
Yes.
Probably not going to do a turn. He doesn't want to afford to stress himself this time.
He might even just stay where he is.
I still think that stressing himself is a bad move to do this close to end game. With that, he could focus up, get maximum evade potential. Not that he's going to get much with 1 dice, but still something. Or damage output, really. Oh, so he is stressing himself.
Yes.
Okay.
We obviously have no idea what Pete's doing. I don't even think even Pete knows what Pete is doing.
Well, he's doing what he thinks is best for the
But then
situation
again,
he's
I
in,
think he's hoping to cause the decimator to crash.
which would negate another hit.
Yes.
Very wise decision there. Defender, probably going to be a 2 forward, maybe 3 to try and avoid the asteroid. And I think that is indeed a bump.
Yes.
Well played by Pete on his part. That's another couple of damage negated by that fact that the decimator cannot fire, which has not fired for 3 rounds now.
Yes.
Out of range the first one, on an asteroid for the second one, and now bumped for
That
the third
really must be annoying.
But look at that.
Look at that.
That's range 1.
That's range 1.
That's
a
4
target
dice
lock.
with a target lock. Oh yes.
I think it's all over.
it's all over.
If he gets at least 3 hits, he just needs to re-roll.
That's
there we go.
Oshiro. That's Oshiro.
There we
That's
go.
game right there.
Yeah.
Well,
That was very close to the time as well. That
was amazing.
For those of you who thought that this wasn't going to be an interesting match, you were proved wrong. That was one of the best matches I saw.
Well, I definitely enjoyed that match. I think things could have gone better for Pete, but in the end, things worked out. I think.
Yeah. He flew as best he could.
He flew as best as he could, and that's all we can
Yes.
expect. Well, thank you for joining me, Jonathan.
That's okay. Thank you for having me.
My name's been Elliot Baker.
I've been Jonathan Firth Clark.
Thank you for joining.